viewers out there, welcome once again to your favorite YouTube channel, Passionate Media TV. And of course, you know how we do it here. It is fact over sentiment. If you have reservations for this kind of critiquing, kindly swipe left and let those who are used to getting knowledge stay glued to their screen. And you know how we do it, of course. My name is Samuel Adeyemi. Can you guess the movie we want to critique today? All right, here is the movie right in front of your screen. Okay, so personally, this movie has really blessed me tremendously. Also from the fact that it has a tendency, or it's tending towards the real life story that happened between one popular music minister who's a female that, you know, she got, quote and unquote, according to the story, got killed by her husband. All right, so that is by the way. Today, do we have lots of errors to bring out from the movie? Of course, the movie is a blessing, but we are sticking to the rules here, fact over sentiment, dissecting what is supposed to be dissected and bringing out the reality, which is the error. Now, let's go straight to it. This particular timestamp.
Nika, my darling daughter.
Yes, Mom.
Is this the young man you've been telling me about?
Yes, Mom.
Wow. Olore Sheo. I'm so happy to see you. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Ma. I'm happy.
So, I mean, that looks unreal. You know why? It looks unreal because the woman or the mother is already seated, and the couples or the fiancé and the fiancé already seated close to each other. So she asking again, like, oh, is this the young man you have been talking about? Looks so unreal because it appears that something has been playing out while they already seated before we started watching it. What would have been best is she just says, oh, Ọlọ́run ẹ ṣé o, which means thank God. And then the lady says, so ma, like you already know, I've been telling you about him. It should have come out from the lady instead of the mom still asking again. Moreover, they are seated together already. That line may not even be necessary at all. And what would have expected to even hear in a more professional way is, I am glad he's finally here, seated right beside you. And then the conversation now continue. So that the rule of start late, leave early will be properly played. That's starting late. That means conversation has started already before we begin to jump into seeing it as the audience. That's starting late and then leaving early. Then they also leave early before maybe something else happens. But the particular dissecting I'm doing in this context is the starting late, which was not followed. She was asking. So this is the man I'm talking about. I mean, that is very, very unreal. It could have just been, so I'm happy that you both are here now, and then the conversation continues. I hope you get that. All right. At this particular timestamp as well.
Is Daddy not coming up anytime soon?
Mommy, go and hasten Daddy now.
Oh, your father? He's inside doing one or two things. You know the way he is. All right, let me go and call him.
I mean, that's what she also said, that, oh, your father isn't necessary. You both know, or we both know rather, that she has already said, that's the couple or the wife to be, or her daughter has already said about daddy or something. And then for her to now still say, oh, your father, it is not a stage play. So that's repetition make it to seem as if it's a stage play, because in stage play there's need for you to re-emphasize a particular word or a particular line, so that we're going to bring the audience into the reality of that scene or of that dialogue or that line. But in this context, she has said, oh, what about daddy, or whatever she said. Let's just see what she said again.
Oh, your father? He's inside doing one or two things. You know the way he is.
And then, after saying that, the next thing the wife or the mother, rather, is supposed to just say is, oh, you know your dad, how he behaves or how he is and something that way. Rather than saying, your father. I mean, are we talking about a stepfather here before? Particular timestamp as well.
My son, you're welcome once again.
Thank you.
So my husband is coming. I've called him.
I mean, it is wrong for the wife to say he's coming, because we can see him already right at her back. So she could have just said is, and then maybe she turns her back, and while she turns her back, the camera takes, of course, a close or medium shot of him, or even still on that same shots, which they are, that we can see the man coming from the back. Could have just said, okay, is, and then she looks at the back, and then we see him coming. The rule of screenwriting is show, do not tell. So we can see him coming already. Why is he telling us that he is coming? I hope you get that. Just like I've seen several errors sometimes in movies as well, when you're watching and then somebody says, okay, can you just take my complimentary card? This is the complimentary card. We are seeing it already. So just say, take, call me. We already know that you are giving that person a complimentary card. I hope you get at this particular timestamp as well.
Okay, give me a minute.
Dad.
Go. Give me a minute.
You see where the dad said, no, go, give me a minute. That repetition isn't necessary. Maybe you should watch it again.
Okay, give me a minute.
Dad.
Go. Give me a minute.
Did you see what I'm talking about? What I would have expected is when she said dad, the father would have just said, you had me. Did you get that? Okay, let me show you example of that scene in a movie we did. Of course, right here, if you are watching this now, you'll be watching this movie critiquing is done right in the city or in the country Uganda, and I am currently in northern Uganda, Jumani district. So we did a movie for Life Mission. So I'll cut a clip of what I expected to see in this particular scene, so you are going to understand. All right, so go ahead and watch the clip of that movie. The movie is titled okay, let me not go further. Just watch the clip and then you see what I'm talking about.
I say come back here. Give it to me.
Huh?
Did you see that scene now of that clip? When I was directing the scene, what I told the cast to do is, do not say, give me the condom again or give it to me. What I said is, I said, the first time he said, give it to me. The next time, he didn't utter a word, he just said. So that is how writing and directing is supposed to be. Instead of you repeating, just say, hand it over to me. And I say, sir, then just the next things, show that sense of authority. So when she said, dad, instead of him to say, give me a minute again or whatever, he can just say, you had me. Or, did you get that? More of facial reaction, more of expression than dialogue. It will make the scene to be prompt, to make it to be professional when you reduce the dialogue or reduce unnecessary repetition and then give a prompt action. At this particular timestamp as well.
What I see is manipulation. I mean, you didn't even give him a chance just because of where his father comes from. This is totally not right.
Laye, I will not apologize for wanting a pure breed. Don't you understand? Sure, Rini? If we miss it now, if you have the wrong match now at this level, it's going to affect a whole lot of generation of heritage. I need you to learn fast.
Dad, you're talking about heritage. Like it's more important than my happiness.
Happiness will fade. Heritage is forever.
Dad, how could you say this to me? This is so insensitive.
That is not what I said, Adeyemi, my daughter. That is not what I said. You are my daughter, and I care about you dearly. I am just trying.
This scene is meant to really be a deep emotional scene. And what I would have expected is when after the old little front and back discussion, at that point he said, you are my daughter. Watch it again.
This is so insensitive.
That is not what I said, Adeyemi, my daughter. That is not what I said. You are my daughter, and I care about you dearly.
In the screenplay, the beauty would have come out if the writer had written, he looks at her or he draws closer to her a little. He holds her shoulder, holding the shoulder that way, and speak eyeball to eyeball by locking his eyes with her eyes, and then she look at him, and then she tried to stretch her head further a little, tilt it, and then then the father will now speak up and say, you are my daughter. That should show a little more of the passion that I asked for her, even though that passion is manipulation, or even though that the safety is trying to keep her in. even though that looks like a cage. But the beauty of that scene could have just been, Adenike, you are my daughter, and you know, that kind of thing. But instead, the way he just said it, you are my daughter, it would have been much more better. So this is from the screenwriting point of view. The screenwriter in the screenplay would have just says, he brought, I know directors have different ways of directing. I'm also a director, but the point that I'm trying to bring out is we should be able to feel his passion, even though it's manipulation, for his daughter by holding her at the shoulder sometimes. You know, if there's an issue, even in real life or something, and then you want to pet someone, you have to draw closer to the person and maybe put your hand on the person's shoulder, and that will be able to help to show that you have compassion for that person. I hope you get that. I repeat that finally. It looks into her eyes, locks eyes with us, or gazes at her, and then she tilts a little like, what do you want to say? And says, you are my daughter. And then the lines continue. I hope you get that. Because the way, even in that scene, there are too much of words here. So we would have expected to see more of action. By the way, when you watch, what's it called? As the movie continues, if you have watched the movie, and I want to believe that you should have watched the movie before watching this critiquing, the man, I do not know what happened behind the scene, but I'm just speaking from the dissecting point of view. The man who is said to be a Yoruba, his accent is not revealing what's it called, that he is a Yoruba person. Definitely, I know he's not a Yoruba person. It's from the Edo. It's from Edo State, and so, but it would have been best if they use a Yoruba wife, a Yoruba husband, and of course, the wife, the daughter isn't revealed. There's no specific place where she's had to speak Yoruba, so that could have been covered. But for the man to be an Edo person speaking Yoruba, if his Yoruba is actually fluent, it would have been better.
What brings you to my office today?
Sir, I'm coming to you as my father's pastor. I know he respects you and he will listen to you.
The rule of start late, leave early didn't play out at all, and it makes this scene so much predictable. I mean, look at it again.
What brings you to my office today?
Sir, I'm coming to you as my father's pastor. I know he respects you and he will listen to you.
She wouldn't have said, I'm coming to you as my father's pastor and something like that. That could have been delayed. We could have experienced suspense, we could have experienced maybe surprise, and of course the mystery of the viewer in this particular scene than the way it is being done. The rule of start late, leave early as well, or in this context, start late alone, didn't play out as well, because they didn't start late, they started early, and that is the rule against screenwriting, by revealing everything. Imagine getting to an office, meeting an interviewer, and the next thing you are saying is, I'm here for the interview, when you are supposed to just show through the power of the director by the interviewee, you know, sending his or her paper, maybe CV or resume, just stretching it to the interviewer in the front, and the interviewer picks it up, looks at it, and when the interviewer looks at it, you now say, you know, nods the head and all that. But if that is another way, it might not be the perfect way now, but you will see ones that are very wrong as an error, that you get to that scene and then the next person, the interviewee would say, I'm here for the interview. That is very wrong, because you are meant to start late by skipping those areas. So now let's dive in fully into this particular error in this scene.
He's ruining every relationship I get into.
Eda Ayo?
Yes, sir. Any man that wants to marry me, that I bring to my father, he refuses them because they are not from our tribe. He doesn't care how I feel about the person, even if I have a personal conviction.
So all what she's saying, that any man brings and then, you know, is frustrating my marriage and all that, could have just started with, sir, I know he respects you so much. So we can now begin to think, if she has found a new man, for example, and then the new man is the pastor is the father in the Lord, or the pastor of that new man, or something much more different than just revealing that, okay, I'm here as regards on behalf of my father's issue and all that. Like, revealing that you are here because of your father is too early enough. So I hope you get that. It would have just, or another way is, I know he respects you so much, and sir, I know he really listens to you. Then the man may even calm down, like he sighs deeply. That's now from the writing point of view, writing the screenplay. Then other things will just come up. Before we now realize, we shouldn't know early that she's coming here or she's right in that office, revealing the challenge that she's having, that her father is giving to her. We could have just been imagining that, okay, she has seen somebody else, or I hope you get what I'm saying. do not reveal the answers immediately in a particular scene or in a movie. Let people get to enjoy the moments rather than saying, oh, she has come now to propose, oh, he has come now, just delay the answer, delay the reality, delay what you are supposed to know a little, and that will make that scene to be very, very professional. At this particular timestamp as well.
My daughter, it's so good to see you. But you didn't even tell me you were coming. I was already on my way out.
I needed to talk to you in person.
Okay.
Uncle, and it's important.
The uncle saying he has something very urgent to do, he has a business or whatever that is going somewhere, isn't necessary. It could have been best that the lady says it herself, something like, okay, just watch it again first.
It's so good to see you. But you didn't even tell me you were coming. I was already on my way out.
I needed to talk to you in person.
It could have been better the lady says something like, so sorry sir that I have to interrupt your outing, but this is very urgent. I need your help and blah blah blah. So the man will just keep quiet. So sometimes you don't necessarily need to have a back and front discussion like, I'm repeating that again, I'm a very, very fantastic actor, and you will know, sir, I'm so sorry that I have to interrupt your outing. So we will know that the conversation has started already, and he is telling her that I ought to have left, or maybe on the phone or even physically. But we don't need to see that. From our dialogue, from our line, we'll be able to know that he has told us something. That is the rule of starting late. That means something has happened before what we are saying. I hope you get that. At this particular timestamp as well. I mean, the way that scene played out isn't the best way. First, she reviewed where she left the what they call it, the hard drive or the memory card or something. Let's just check. You already know what I'm talking about now. That's the flash drive rather, yeah. So for her to say, oh, I left it on my dining table, the writer has written cheaply to make us know that, okay, it's likely that she will return back home. And how do we know? Because when she said, okay, I need to return back home, that isn't also good enough. She could have just said, oh, I need to. So we can now have this imagination that, oh, is she thinking of going back home, or she's thinking of getting, a flash drive maybe from her work colleague. She wants to use it for something. So, but for us to just say, I need to get back home, I review the answer. So when she got back home, those issues that happened and all that one, I don't even have issues with that scene in specific. But I have issue with she's saying, I need to get back home. She has reviewed the answer already in that scene by the power of the writer, which has been enforced by the director. So it would have been best she just said, I need to, and then we just cut to seeing her in the house. In fact, she's saying, oh, I left it on the flash on the dining table, may not necessarily be wrong, assuming she didn't say, I need to go back to the house. If she just said, I left it on the dining table, oh, what do I do now? In fact, we could have even delayed again and say, oh, do I, okay, I need to. When you now say, I need to, then you now cut to the house. When you say, or do I, that might sound like, or do I borrow another flash drive to use it for something? Because you're in work, it may be that you may not necessarily need to use that your flash drive. It might be that you just need to collect your colleague's flash drive, not necessarily you going back to the house. I hope you get that. So delaying that, what's it called, where you are going to would have been more better, so that we'll not know or have the expectation that you're already going to the house. For example, I've used this severally, of course, if you have been following my critiquing. When you watch some movies and then there's an accident that happened somewhere else which we do not know yet, and then I'm here, I just receive a phone call, the cast rather, just receive a phone call, the character just receive a phone call and say, hello? Oh, really? And the next person says, which hospital? I mean, don't say which hospital, because you have reviewed the answer already that the person is going to an hospital. We should not get that. Say, where? Some will say, how? When? That is also too cliche. Do you understand? But let's still leave that. Now, the next thing that you hear is, how? Okay, I'm coming there right now. That is also fair. But sometimes in some professional way of writing, you might not even say I'm coming there right now. How? Oh my God. Then we just cut and now see that character that I say, oh my God, at the hospital or at somewhere he or she is supposed to be, maybe in the house scene, maybe there's an accident in the maybe there's a fire outbreak in the house or something. Not telling us what's about to happen in the next scene will make the movie much more professional, and then whatever it is you are doing, thumbs up to you in that context. I hope you get that. All right, so this will be the end of this critiquing of this beautiful, powerful movie. It's a life transforming movie, you know, that's speaking about people should make sure that they speak out in whatever situation they are passing through as regards marriage, so that you not be a victim of maybe of emotional abuse, or even that will even lead to death as it were. Like we always say here, in case you are watching this critiquing is done for the purpose of professionalism from the screenwriters and also for directors as well, and as well even for editors, because sometimes there's a way the film has been shot. Editors can bring out the creativity, of course, through the guidance of the director that is right there with him when they are trying to check and, you know, vet what he or she as the editor has edited. In case you are wondering what next for your next production, of course, that is why we are here. The number is right there on your screen or in the comment section. You can reach us if you want to write your next movie and then you want it to come out professionally, or you have written your script already and then you want us to vet it before you go for location, or you have a fresh idea that you want us to write for you, or just want us to write any inspiring transformational stories. We are here for you. You have various writers, countries, and they are ready to work on your next production. Like I just said, in case whenever you be watching this is being done live in October, where I'll be completing I'll be completing 2 months here on the mission field in Uganda. And for those who have been following me on Facebook, there's a time I said I'm considering maybe I wouldn't actually continue the critiquing for about 6 months, because I will be in Uganda for the next 6 months, God helping me, in the mission field. But still, I have to satisfy, quote and unquote, satisfy my audience by giving them what is right, by giving them the errors that are in these movies, so that their next production will always come out professionally. Till I see you next time, keep watching inspiring movies, keep watching transformational movies, keep writing well, and let your professionalism keep growing and becoming better. I love you and have a wonderful day. Bye bye.